It's the AY Show.
All right, guys, welcome to the AY Show. Of course, we made you guys a promise, and we said to you that we're going to be bringing the presidential candidates for the 2023 elections. And good enough, we have another very, very strong personality representing one of the very foremost parties. Action Congress Party, and of course he's right there somewhere with us. He's going to come join us in no time in his capacity as a human rights activist, and of course someone who has been there over time doing what he does know how to do best as the founder of Sarah Reporter. Beyond being a human rights activist, you also know that this man is running for the presidency as well. So let's make welcome to the AY Show, the very one and only human rights activist, Omoyele Sowore, right here on the AY Show.
Oh, thank you very much, AY. Thanks for bringing me on your show. And I want to wish all your viewers, supporters, and followers a great time today on your show.
Oh, thank you very much for coming on board. And of course, you are representing AAC.
Yes, the African Action Congress.
As the presidential candidate. And it's so good to have you on the show. Thank you for honoring our open invitation to have you come on board. Initially, when we put out the post, the name wasn't there, but a lot of people started reaching out to say it's a must that we have one of our own come on board. And I'm very, very happy to have you honor it. So tell us, what has the journey been so far for the presidential election for 2023? What has the journey been so far for you?
Well, it's been amazing considering the constraints that that I've had to go through since the end of the 2019 election. I'm about the only candidate who participated in 2019 who did not stop campaigning. You're aware of my arrest a few months after the end of the 2019 election in August, when we called for the revolution, my time in detention, and also my restriction to Abuja for some 3 years. As you are aware, I'm probably the third citizen of Nigeria that was restricted to a city by a court order. The first person being Pa Imodu under the colonial rule, and Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who was restricted to Lekki before he was jailed maliciously in 1953. I'm the third person that I know who was ever restricted to a city. So we had to go through all this. When I got out of detention, of course, we had to confront police brutality, and we all fought with NSAS in 2020. And after that, kept going to court and dealing with a lot of legal problems. You know, I was charged with treasonable felony. You saw that there with my my supporter and chief priest, who I went to court with, and I'll tell you the story someday later. And our party was also hijacked shortly after we finished the election in 2019. We retrieved the party back via a court order, and we had only 6 days to participate in the 2023 election. The nomination portal was going to close, and we did quickly party nominations. And here I am, a presidential candidate in 2023, and I've been around Nigeria. I've been reaching out to a lot of people. I changed strategy because the age and era that we're in now is where we are. We have you with thousands of followers, if not millions, all over the world. There's nobody that can fit the number of people watching us tonight in the stadium. So anybody still doing rallies at stadium, packing people and doing echo chamber style of campaigning is living in the past. So what we do is to directly engage with the people wherever you might find them, whether you're in the bathroom, you're at work, you're in school, you're in the market. You can join us and you can hear the ideas and you can engage the way nobody has ever done before.
I'm just going to quickly ask this question because everything that happened to you happened under the present regime that has been championed by President Mohamed Buhari. And but that is where I'm going to ask a very serious question, because I remember some time ago when he won, you were jubilating, and a lot of people have this impression that accusing you of working for PMB against Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. How do you react to that?
No,
I mean, coupled with the fact that all of this happened under, PMB.
No. First, let me correct the impression that I was jubilating. It was completely false. I was never jubilating at any event. I think when the PDP lost out, they had to look for people to blame for their disastrous 16-year reign. And they concocted the video. It was made by Reno Omokri that said I was jubilating. But I was a journalist. I had a camera around my neck. I had a tag. I was just coming from the ICC. While we were at the ICC covering the release of the elections, we heard that Jonathan had already conceded that he lost. So all the journalists started rushing to the secretariat of the Buhari campaign in Abuja. And when I got there, a lot of people who knew me, because Sowore Reporters was breaking the story that Jonathan had lost, releasing all the results before anybody else, before even INEC did. So they came around me. They started saying, "Oh, this is Sowore." And most people I've never met were taking pictures, and I was the one who released the video myself on Sahara TV, and they cropped it and said I was jubilating. Of course, they needed to get at somebody. What I should also say, and you must know, is that the people who brought Buhari to office, you know them, and the people who jubilated at his election and his swearing in, some of them are now people you know. The people who sang, performed at his swearing in, they are now against him. So why is nobody accusing them of jubilating? People who were paid to perform at the swearing in, you know them. There are some of the entertainers that you know very well. Obasanjo, them that worked for Buhari, Aisha Yusufu, Peter, this is our brother, Patu Tomi. All of them they have never hidden it that they work for Buhari. I never work for Buhari, man. I can't work for Buhari. I work for myself. Just like you're doing today. Maybe tomorrow somebody's also going to accuse you of working for a candidate. First, you have a right to work for a candidate of your choice, And if you disagree with the candidate, you are also at liberty to oppose the candidate. There's nothing wrong with that. But I never did. I've never done so. And this is not my first time being persecuted by government. I've undergone persecution for 30 years. So did I support Babangida when we drove him out of power? Did I support Abacha? The only person I've ever stood behind in my life was Abiola, because he won an election. It's not because I worked for him during the election. But when he won the election and the election was annulled by the military, we stood out there and fought the military until we drove them out of power after 10 years of struggle. So a lot of people don't know history, and a lot of people just also did not know who I was until 2018, 2019. I have been around for 3 decades. You can see some of my pictures there looking like someone in a refugee camp. We were hungry and starved, but we had integrity and we fought in those days. And I've done that completely for 3 years. Some of our colleagues today were born in 1999. We call them children of democracy. They are now 24 years old. They didn't know me. By 1999, I had moved to the US, spent 20 years there, set up Sahara Reporter. So some people never knew who Sowore was until they started seeing me in 2018 and 2019. And then most people got to know about me really well when I was detained by the regime for 5 months. So and I thank all of them for advocating for me, because it got them used to who I was and who I've ever been in terms of character and characteristics.
Well, all of these can also be roped under corruption per se. And when I say corruption, I'm not referring you to the system itself. There's a lot going on in the system, and you, as a human rights activist, you've been doing your very best to fight corruption. So, how do you really intend to do that when you become Mr. President? How do you intend to fight corruption?
I think if anybody is qualified to say that he has single-handedly fought corruption in this country, it will be me. One of the reasons I set up Sowore Reporters was to fight corruption. What attracted me to media, I never went to journalism school. I studied geography and planning at the University of Lagos. When I was leaving the University of Lagos, people were making fun of me that, what are you going to do with geography? Is it to draw maps, and be selling, nobody's going to buy maps from you. So when I got to the US, I got introduced to the internet. And it was at the time that I was also hearing from people that Nigerian officials were buying houses all over the world. We found a number of houses bought by Ojus or Kalu, Alamaseya, Atiku, in a place called Potomac outside of DC. And it was so shocking that you could just type their name on the internet or their address and the house will pop up. And we saw millions of dollars used in buying houses in places that were wallowing in corruption. So we also found houses bought by Bori, Saraki, and the rest of them in the UK. Those ones you needed to buy on the land registry. So I started buying documents, and I was obsessed with buying these documents, including floor plans. In the US, you find their bathrooms, made of golden, bathroom, toilet seats, and all that. And we started putting them out. That was how I started fighting corruption. And on the basis of Sowore Reporters' writings alone, a lot of people were punished. Some of them were arrested, detained. Some of them were charged. I'm not responsible for jailing them. Those ones who were jailed, so many of them have been granted amnesty or pardon by their fellow corrupt political officials. So what I'm telling you is to tell you my background about fighting corruption, that it didn't start today. I know how to fight corruption, and I'll just state to you clearly, for those who are listening, it's not the enforcement that is most important or jailing people. It's ensuring that you put padlock on your treasury. And how do we padlock our treasury? Technology. Blockchain technology is what I will adopt for contracting. Transparency. Ensuring that every contract in the country, you can dig and find out who got the contract, how much is the contract, how much have they been paid, and who are the board members or companies that are getting contract. So if you are looking at a contract, you must be able to tell that the board members of the company, if you see a 9-year-old child on it, you know that there's something funny about it, because it will be transparently done. Payments will also be transparently done. That's why I love the idea of e-currency. But Nigeria is a crazy place. They started e-Naira 2 years ago. By 2 years later, they are printing paper currency. They don't understand how the world works. We are not supposed to go from e-currency back to paper. And now the paper, they can't even afford to print because they don't have a mint that can print proper currency. So that is it. Number one is to make sure that people don't have access to funds belonging to the country. The US government, the US president cannot spend US money anyhow. Anything that is not allocated to him, he can't spend it. The US president buys his own food. He has to pay for food, except if he's receiving dignitaries and visitors that have official dealings with the system. The US president cannot determine the car he wants to drive. You can't wake up in the US as president of the US and say you want to drive Mercedes-Benz. Nobody's going to buy it for you because it's not made in the US. They have to use a car that is made by an automaker in the US. So the US president doesn't have a credit card that says, it's a black credit card that says you can spend unlimited. They're not allowed to do that. US government officials, politicians are jailed for $5,000 corruption. Sometimes they didn't even steal the money. It could be that their phones are bugged and somebody's listening on it. Like the guy in Chicago, in Illinois, who was jailed, this Blagovic is name, he was jailed for discussing with some people to buy Obama's slot after he left the Senate. So that is how to run a corruption-free society. You can't run a corruption-free society by running after people who have already stolen too much money. Look at all the people that Ribado caught in 2006, 2007. They are in court. Their cases have not been determined. Some of their witnesses have died. Some of the witnesses have recanted. They have assassinated some of their witnesses. Documents have gone missing. judges have collected bribes. So you can't fight corruption in our own judicial system and get to the root of it. So the solution is to ensure that nobody has access to the Commonwealth the way they do now, in a reckless, criminal, and unconscionable way. So that's what I would do differently, in addition to, of course, punishment. And I've said it, if you stole Nigeria money, it doesn't matter whether it was 60 years ago or 2022, you have to return it. Because we are still collecting money from Abacha. And
I would say that I would say here that your position as a human rights activist is very well established, even as we are having these interactions and engagement with people. But let's take some clips of some of the things that we found about you that we want to put out there for others to see. And then when we come back, we'll continue.
It's the AY Show.
Wealth generation, it is wealth distribution. So are you happy with that productivity?
The productivity will happen when we invest in our people. When we invest in education, when we invest in power. You know, we have a port, a national port that can expand, but it also has become a basket case. So you are there pouring water into it, the National Assembly is taking its own, the subsidy people are taking their own. Until you plug that, you have a whole port, and the port can expand because now there's power, there's productivity, you have students who are going to school, and you can then be looking into a future of a knowledge economy, where information, because that's what I want to get to. Somebody asked me here before, you know, what other products can you do after rice? No, I'm not after cocoa or gold. I'm after the knowledge of Nigerians that we can sell into the future. You know, because if you look at even the stock markets of major countries in the world, it is not cocoa and rubber that they are selling. They are, you know, Amazon is there, you know, Microsoft is there, Apple is there. If you invest in our universities, FUTA can produce one student, that is the Federal University of Technology in Akure or the one in Mina, can produce one student that can innovate to the extent that we can have a Facebook founder in this country that will be ruling the world.
How will you persuade the National Assembly to cut down on
the National Assembly, going to their own case, there is no way we can accept an illegality. The allowances they are paying themselves, according to even the laws of the land, are illegal. They are not entitled to more than 1 million naira or thereabouts in allowances. So the mere fact that somebody has taken over the lunatic asylum and is awarding themselves what they like, doesn't mean that it is legal. We can challenge it. We have a court in this land which we can challenge and see how much are they entitled to, how much should they be collecting. If we cannot get them to drop it, the country might as well drop them.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Now let me quickly, because the time is limited, Dr.
It's the AY Show.
All right, we'll stay with Sowore, and of course, it's a pretty good one that we just saw a video now about. You saw the way monkeys are trying to share that bread, and we also discovered that's what's been happening, you know, in Aso Rock from time immemorial. Nobody can deny that fact. It's like people go in there just to get their own share of the cake. We have other videos that we're going to be showing, but then we have a lot of people online who are joining us, and they're going to be asking questions as well. So we are going to quickly go. I think we're facing the camera. If you notice, the quality of the camera was poor from the beginning, but I think it's good to go now to join us again. But let's quickly take another break, and then we'll come back to join him. Thank you.
It's the AY Show. It's the AY Show.
I just can't complain. When I see the picture, now Dubai, they are police, they share snacks, give people. Once you are in traffic for 6 minutes, they'll share snacks to give you. I just come back from Dubai yesterday. Christmas Day, they share gift. Police. Once you are in traffic for 6 to 7 minutes, Oga, go ram if I did lie. Sam, see there are police cars. Sam, this is not police car. You see police car? And this car, check them. See the, no, can't go back. See the number, 999. Correspond with 999. See what they write. You see this thing? Fanshin Sanfun. Me say police love you. Go around. Dubai. See their interior. Police. Car. If you go see the police to be police go hungry you. See police. Police. See on the right hand. Police. 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 Nigeria. See on a police. My brother, police are wonderful people. Our God that we serve, we bless police. Area commander, you people are doing a great job. And God will continue to give you strength to do more. To protect the citizens. My brother, the way police they stop you for this worry, are they shock? Oh. Police, the way police they stop person, they be like saying a problem when 1-5 not go fit solve. Oh. My brother, I say now police, you know say for this country now, the way the country don't be, you know say if you give police 1,000 over excitement, if you make a shoot DPO. Police, wonderful people. Last week for Alaja, they took police in-laws inside station. Police call wrong, go there report, give army. Army say what you have, we say they don't thief am. As I talk to you in a vigilante, the guy station.
It's the AY Show.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely going to take us to the issue of police brutality. And of course, Sowore was a major part of the End SARS movement. So I think it's a good time to ask you again, to tell us about your experience during the End SARS and what impact that movement, created for all of us collectively.
I think the End SARS movement was in Nigeria's history the closest to a revolution. It was, as a matter of fact, on the way to changing Nigeria forever. But for some reason, we didn't stay long enough on the streets. And staying long enough on the street is not something you can blame anybody for. But the best day during End SARS would have been to remain on the streets or return to the streets on October the 21st. That's the day after they shot people at Lekki. The system had already weakened to the point that it was about to collapse. And even Buhari did say it, that these young people were coming to my living room to overthrow my government. Are you getting my point? So if we had done a little more push, and I've analyzed this so many times, it would have been something that's never happened before in Nigeria. So NSAS was a powerful movement. It was a powerful idea, and it was something, and it remains something that the rulers of Nigeria, the political class, will never forget in their life. But for some reason, we allowed them to kind of get over it by not carrying it through. But again, this is not something that I'll blame anybody for, because a lot of
Did you think that the movement was hijacked? Did you think the movement was hijacked at some point in time?
No, it wasn't. It was never hijacked. It was the state. See, the problem with NSAS was that the Nigerian state, upon finding out that NSAS was not about police brutality, it wasn't about police brutality. It was the police brutality that sparked it. You remember that what even led to NSAS never really happened. The guy that they said was killed in Sapele or whatever, one place that in Delta State, that led to the movement or the protest or the rebellion, as I like to call it, was not killed. He didn't die. People just heard the rumor that he died, and they said, we've had enough of this. And the next thing, the whole country was up in arms. It was just the fuel. It was the dynamite that was lit, that ignited what was already the public anger that was there. People were tired of the regime. They were tired of the Buhari regime, and they wanted to do everything to either teach it a lesson or get rid of it.
And you know, that alone was championed by a good number of youths. So that's going to bring my question. Should you become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what are your plans for the Nigerian youth?
Two things will be my first priority, is to invest in their education and also to invest in employment and opportunities for them. When I say education, I'm a candidate who will say it here that I benefited from next to zero fees in education. I attended the University of Lagos, and my school fees when I arrived from Ondo State, where you told me you're from, was 45 naira. The accommodation was 90 naira. My father couldn't afford it. He gave me only 20 naira and plenty of letters to my uncles living in Lagos to help me out. And eventually, that opportunity to go to school with, just small amount of money is the reason I'm sitting in front of you today. So for young people in this country, we must invest in your education. And when I mean investing in education, it's not just some bogus investment. We're giving you free education. You deserve it. And for those who are in the university, I've said it and I'm repeating it here, you will get 100,000 naira at the onset per semester to support you in your endeavors in going to school. Do you know why? Because all the rich people who are using your resources and opportunities to send their children to school, they spend more money on one child, on one of their kids attending school in London, America, Canada, than the entire money some of you will earn in your lifetime. So it's Nigeria's resources, and we must invest in the youth. With regards to employment opportunities and other opportunities, is to create the environment for it. And what are the environment for these opportunities? People have access to, capital, whether they want to work or not. People have access to opportunities that are created all over the place. But most importantly, you must invest in those things that will make people creative. I was talking about knowledge economy when you did that was the tape you played, and that was 2019 I was talking about it. Because if you look at the top 10 companies that are doing well in the world,
okay.
You look at Facebook, you look at Amazon. There's only one oil company among the top 10 performing companies in the world, and that's Saudi Aramco. Nothing else. It's knowledge that is driving the world, that's ruling the world now. And that's why I keep saying to Nigerians, all of you that are watching me, stop voting for analog-brained leaders. They don't understand you. They don't understand the world. They don't understand themselves. That is why they didn't create one single hospital in Nigeria where they can go to if they need treatment. It's the reason why they didn't build roads, even though they buy beautiful, expensive cars. It's the reason why they didn't do anything for themselves. Just as they are hurting you, they're also hurting themselves. Don't vote for analog brain leaders vote for digitally wired brains like mine. I'm not bragging about it. I can operate any device if I'm taught how to do it in a few hours, in a few days. The rest of them can't. They don't understand you. They don't live in your world. They live in la la land. You live in a real world. That's why they starve you of opportunities. They starve you of loans to go to, not loans, grants to go to school. I did my master's in the US. The night I got into Columbia University to study my master's, the US government gave me enough money to the extent that I paid my school fees and I could rent an apartment to live in. If I wanted a car that night, I would get. In your country, what do they do to you? They'll make your universities go on strike for 9 months, 9 solid months. Even countries that are at war, they are going to school. Ukraine is at war. Ukraine is importing grains to Nigeria, even though they're at war now. Nigeria is not exporting anything to anywhere except religion. That is a problem. And nobody's talking about these issues. They are only talking about, what can you get if you come to a rally? Or, if you come and vote, we give you 5,000 naira, you go and cook. And then after you finish the 4,000 naira or 5,000 naira, they will never see them again until 4 years when they come and lie to you. And people buy into these bogies, and they ask me sometimes, why are you angry? If you live in this country and they are treated like they are treating you and you are not angry, something is wrong with you.
Now, talking about rallies now, yes. This is very, very important. A lot of your people are very, very concerned. They want you to state your party's campaign plans and rallies. State what's the states of your party's campaign plans and rallies. Because one, you said the digital world is it for you at the moment. But I also believe in direct marketing, where you can interact with the people directly, like others are doing, going from one state to another. What are the plans that you have? Do you believe that, it's not everybody that is online. I hope you know that. It's not everybody that you find online in the digital world and in the digital space. So what are your plans? What have you been doing in that regard?
No, we've been doing what we call people assemblies around the country. I just came back from Kano. I went to Ibadan. I am one of the candidates I've attended the highest number of town hall meetings organized by professionals, ICANN, architects, doctors in this country. The reason is that all these analog leaders are afraid to even talk to people. They can't defend their ideas. We have a manifesto. There's nobody here who will not tell you that I have one of the best manifestos ever in 2 election cycles now. Direct marketing is fantastic, but if today you want to advertise AY Life, go and put it in the Guardian and see how many people will attend your next AY Life. Don't put it on Facebook, don't put it on Instagram, don't put it on Twitter. Go and put it in Punch, and you will be the only person entertaining yourself in the hall. So that's direct marketing driven by a digital world. Like I said, when you interviewed one candidate last time, you said 25 million people watched it. There is no newspaper in Nigeria that can circulate 25 million copies. Right now, all the newspapers combined together that are in Nigeria who are still printing, they don't circulate up to 25,000, all of them. But if you write a breaking story on a news platform that is popular, you can get over 4 million people reading you in an hour.
Well, that's a good one. I mean,
so we have gone past the era of echo chambers of rallies. That's why I'm not wasting my time. One, I don't have the money to debase anybody with by giving them money. A lot of people that you see at these rallies don't even know the candidates they are rallying for. Some of them, they go for rallies based on which candidate can pay the most. It happened to me in Akwa Ibom once in 2019. The guy came to us and said, we heard you guys want to rally, bring 10 million naira. We are doing that of PDP now. Tomorrow we are doing APC. If you can wait next tomorrow, we'll do your own. That's how rallies are organized. They are not about ideas. And the candidates that are attending these rallies, they are talking to themselves. Maybe 5 minutes only. The rest is entertainment, comedy, it's just distractions. When we came in 2018 and 2019, we introduced the idea of town hall meetings. Everybody was making fun of us. What is town hall meetings? The town hall meetings are places where you talk to people and engage them. They ask you questions, you answer them. You can't answer questions at a rally. You know, if a doctor attends your rally and he wants to ask you what are you going to do about medical situation, you can't tell, he can't raise up his hand in the crowd. And your candidates don't come to TV to debate. So how do you talk to them? You know, and when we're talking about town hall meetings, we're not talking about the Bulabalu type of town hall meetings that are pre-arranged. We're talking about town hall meetings where people freely come around, they ask us questions. I traveled the most in 2019 within Nigeria and outside of Nigeria. I went as far as Australia, 4 cities, US, about 17 cities. I went to Canada, over 4 cities. So there's nothing new that politicians are doing today that I have not done 4 years ago. I've just moved on with a new strategy. When it comes to fundraising, I was the first person to bring fundraising into this country, what they call crowdfunding. GoFundMe, deposit money in my account. It was my idea in 2019. So, but when we were doing it at that time, they were making fun of us. All the candidates now are raising money. But what they don't do is that they don't account for it. You know, I give monthly account of how much I raised and how I expended them. So
okay, there's a video of you sensitizing Nigerians about the elections and the different process, how you encounter different candidates in different cities that you visited. Maybe we should see that video and then we'll come back and continue. I'll be right back.
It's the AY Show.
My name is Omoyele Sowore. I'm the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress. And I'm going to be the president of Nigeria come after February 2023. So you all better be careful. I want to say here, and it's very important to me, that I observed one of the most peaceful elections in Nigeria in 1993. And we allowed that election to stand. We will not be signing a peace agreement today. Because that you are signing a peace agreement in Nigeria shows that elections have become war in Nigeria. This is the only country in the world where you sign a peace agreement during an election season, as if we are at war. But that is what our elders did to Nigeria. And I think next time we should sign a peace agreement with the elders who are instigating violence in this country, or have them sign peace agreements between themselves. Because peace is not breached by poor people. Poor people suffer the consequences of violence. When you look at elections, the people that suffer the most are those poor women and men. And when there's a breakdown in law and order in Nigeria, every rich man, politically connected, gets enough police protection, and they're able to get on the jet and leave Nigeria at the slightest provocation. This is where we are. And I should also say that some of the people that instigators of violence during the election are not in this hall. They are the vassal representatives of some of the men and women in this hall. They are state governors in particular. You need to get them to sign the peace accord. There are some of them as the most violent and virulent people in Nigeria. They demonstrated it in Kogi State. A woman was burnt alive in her house. Until today, the killers of those women or that woman have not been fished out in Nigeria. In Kano, there is someone campaigning that if they don't win the election, they will kill everybody in Kano. In Borno State, it's the same thing. You go to Lagos, where the APC holds sway, you cannot paste a poster if it's not Bola Ahmed Asiwaju's poster in Lagos. I just came back from Lagos. They have a team that tears anybody's poster that is not their candidate's poster. You cannot even pay for your poster or banner to be hosted in Lagos. They have a bureaucracy in place that makes it impossible for you to do. How can there be peace in a country where there's no justice? We keep lying to ourselves all the time. I also want to say that for the rest of us, as you have treated us today, because we don't have resources and we don't have powerful connections, we don't have access to state resources. Most of the other candidates use and abuse state resources. They have governors who just dip their hands into their state treasury and use them to fund their candidate activities, and nobody is challenging them. Once in a while, when they want to tickle our fancy, the EFCC comes around to play at the playground of the political parties. Two political parties are particularly very notorious for this. They buy votes, both at their primaries and in the final election. And how do you compete with these people? If elections are supposed to be about justice and bringing about great leadership and bringing about peace and development, how could great people win elections in a country where terrible people control all the resources of your country? That's another issue for another day. The other part is the media, and I should say this because I'm a media practitioner too, that they have shut several of us out. Also, I will accuse the media of Asiwaju. They have never interviewed me in this election. That is the TVC news. They have blacklisted some of us, but they are supposed to be a public media that should address, that should attend to everybody. And the last thing I will say are security agencies. Just like someone mentioned, the security agencies have allegiance and loyalty to just a few people. That's the truth. I was almost run out of the road in Ibadan just yesterday because Atiku was in Ibadan to campaign. I was also there to campaign, but I had one car. Atiku had over 40. And I had no police. Atiku had over 500 policemen attached to him. I sent a letter to the police today to provide me police protection. I'm going to Benue tomorrow. They said I should drop the thing on Monday. How do I get police on Monday when I'm going to Benue tomorrow? I submitted to my friend who represented the IG. I will just say finally that nobody should lose hope in this hall, especially those of us who are the receiving end of the injustices in this country. One day the table will turn. Thank you very much.
It's the AY Show. It's the AY Show.
AY Life US and Canada Tour with the most followed comedian in Africa. Maryland.
Maryland, make some noise! Yeah! What's your name?
Magda.
Now you come here to do his eye. You will bust pipeline to get money, come here.
Houston.
Don't collect my money since. No, enter. I hope you. I hope you don't have a gun in your bag and just say motherfucker what you're saying.
Atlanta.
Nigeria, make some noise! Flash up your lights, ladies and gentlemen, to the left, to the right. Yes, we saw that. Oh, now man, they love me so. I cover my hands with the blood of God. The Nigerians said the way they command you and order you around, you take some that they give you visa. Security, no more security. Please move. Is that your left socks in your right leg or your right leg on your left socks?
Chicago, Indianapolis, Toronto, Port Harcourt, Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary.
Point your hand on top of your husband's head right now. Say, I cover you with my blood. Any slime that will slime you, it will even kill you. Can I have a handshake? You never can tell. I could be your father. You're going to see mama go, baby. Kori, mama go. Make some noise if you love AY.
AY Live on Easter Sunday, Legendary Edition, April 9th. Coming to you live at the Eco Hotels and Suites. For table reservations and sponsorship, call 070492154448.
It's the AY Show.
Yeah, we have quite a lot of people joining us from far and wide. And I like the statement which says, one day the table will turn. And that's a very, very powerful one there. And we still have Sowore with us, is very much present. But this is a time where we need to bring some other Nigerians to come and ask questions. It's very, very important. I have Timi Dayo online with us. I have Yinka Adesoya with us as well. And of course, Area Mama is somewhere around the corner. I'm going to come. Hey, Show, I see you, but I'm going to come. I have the finance guy waiting for us. I have Ofejiro also online waiting for us as well. So let's start with Timi Dayo. Timi Dayo, welcome.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening, President to be. Good evening, Ewa.
Good. Timi Dayo,
all right, I'll just do
a question for Sowore.
Yeah,
please.
yeah. I got a question.
Okay.
I got a question. Very, very straightforward question. And I've actually been following Sowore for, let's say, 15 years now, because I'm also someone who loves journalism. And I can say I appreciate all your work, all everything you do with Sarah. So I want to say, how do you intend to tackle the insecurity and the criminality in terms of the sphere of the government? Because right now it's reached down even up to the councillorship, even up to the State House of Assembly, the Senate, everyone. Because there's no platform now for you as a young person, speaking for myself, that would want to run into this into the government sector someday. There's no way I can get into it because I don't have a godfather, because I don't have someone to look up to, because someone to pick you up. I got a statement when I tried to run into the one of the offices last year, and someone told me that if your godfather is not strong, forget about it. So how do you intend to narrow down and keep those stuff?
You know, the first solution is for the child of nobody to become a president of Nigeria, to become somebody. And you're right here with me. I have no godfathers. If anyone came my way, I didn't respect them, because I know godfathers destroy the future of God's sons in Nigeria. And if we work together, vote for the right guy, and I propose that you do so for me, you will, for the first time, have a president that has no ties to organized crime, drug barons, political criminals, money launderers, all these people. You can count them. I have fought against them my entire life. I do not have any ties. I do not belong to a secret society. I can say that here in front of you. And I'm not after anybody who might belong to a secret society, because that's their right, that's their choice. But I've never belonged to one. Even when it was attractive in the university, it's one of the things that I had to do so that I could be free to run the student union government that I first ran for when I was in the University of Lagos. So without taking power from these cabals, the buccaneers in our society, the child of nobody can never become somebody. The role of youths in Nigeria in the 40s was stronger than it is today. There were no youths that were not involved in the struggle for independence in Nigeria. The guy who proposed Nigeria's independence, the guy who moved the motion, was less than 30 years old, Anthony Nahoro, when he did it. But like Obafemi Awolowo, even Obasanjo, Gowon was president of Nigeria at the age of 29, although it was military rule. Are you getting my point? And why were they able to become so? Because they had aspirations. But now, the guy who was the president of Nigeria when I was in primary 4 is the president of Nigeria when I'm 51 years old. And I get upset, and I apologize to those of you who are out there who feel like, I express this sometimes aggressively. When people say to me at the age of 51, oh, I'm going to become local government chairman, because they have internalized inferiority complex that these guys have imposed upon us. What are the most brilliant young people doing in Nigeria today? Media assistants to a criminal who doesn't know how to use Twitter, a special consultant on how to launder money. Some of them, they help them manage their girlfriends, book hotels, And those are the things young people do. The rest of us, totally, the university that some of us decided to go to, they close it down every year. It's ASU strike. And I guarantee you, what they do with ASU strike is actually to provoke the lecturers to go on strike so that the rest of you cannot have education. Do you know what? If you have education, it will be difficult to be running this country the way they are running it. They know it. But without education, there are 218 million Nigerians. It depends on who you ask. Only 1.7 million Nigerians are in universities in this country, and they still close down the university every year for 9 months. There are guys who are in public universities. There are colleagues who went to private universities or traveled abroad, graduated before then. Some of them came back and they are lecturers in their class. That's Nigeria's story for you. So young people who want to aspire to be somebody in life must fight for it. These guys are not going to hand over power to you on a platter of gold. It's not possible. That's why Obasanjo at the age of 80-something is still telling you who to vote for. You should be the one who is telling him where to spend the rest of his life. You are not. It's not supposed to be dictating to you. But because you have surrendered your personal sovereignty to them, and they love it like that. They like the confusion. They say they hold a meeting and say, "Don't mind all these young people. Go and bring the person we want," because they don't know what they are doing, and they say it. They say that you don't know what you are doing. Even Obasanjo said it recently that until the youth of this country rebel against the system, they have no chance of making progress. And that's what I'm telling you. You cannot get it on the platter of gold. Nobody is going to let you take power. You must fight for it, obtain it, and use it for the betterment of society and yourself to increase the opportunity and expand the opportunity and the space for development for young people. At the age of 51, I should have been doing my second term as president of Nigeria. But who is there now? And who are the next two people that they are parading as frontliners? One is 70 years every year. The other one is close to 80. And the rest of you are clapping for them. Even when they made a not too young to run law, they told the guys who came to ask them to sign the law that you have to wait for 4 years. The guys who went for not too young to run, they also have become adults now. They can't call themselves youth anymore.
Yinka, I know you have Yinka Adesoya, you have your own question to ask, and I can see that the human rights activist came prepared for all of this.
Yeah, I think he has a vast knowledge of, I think I've been following Sowore for a long time. Good evening, Mr. Sowore, and thanks for AY.
Good evening, Yinka.
Yeah. So my question is, how do you decentralize the federal government? I think the Nigerian system of government is so the way it's being set up that the central is too powerful. I think it needs to be decentralized so that And one of the other thing is, I think, how do you educate the populace? I think lawlessness in Nigeria has been rooted into our DNA that we tend not to follow simple instruction, and that's also one of the major problems, to going down from the federal, state, and local level, so that people can maybe the states start making their own certain laws or implementing certain laws. So those are my two questions. I think the last guy also asked some of the questions I want to ask, so I don't want to take too much of your time.
Thank you, Yinka. Nigerians are not lawless. They are living in a society that permits lawlessness. If you go to the US, no matter how lawless you are, or Canada, or Europe, you will not run a red light because you know the consequences, right? So, but why would somebody not be lawless when you know that there are two categories of Nigerians? The ones that are below the law and the ones that are above the law. You know that saying, the English saying that, the law is an ass. It can hold an ant, but it cannot hold an elephant. That's Nigeria. It's animal farm. If then you go to your second question, which is how to devolve power. My solution is very, very direct. The Nigerian Constitution is the problem that is a document that has mechanical problems. Are you getting my point? The Constitution cannot work for the kind of aspirations we have. So let's go into a constitutional conference, sovereign in nature, set up a new constitution that addresses everything. When people talk about the federal government is heavy. You go to the states. The states are running criminal enterprises. I mean, state governors. They don't conduct local government elections. And what power is supposed to devolve from the federal to state and state to local government. The local government is supposed to be the best funded and the best source of contact with the people. But ask yourself, how many governors allow local governments to function? Not only do they not allow elections to happen, they hijack local government funds. They steal it and use it for whatever they use it for. So it's the constitution that can address it. It's the constitution that can say, look, this is the law. You cannot even superintend over local government elections. The worst INEC sector in Nigeria, the worst electoral commission in Nigeria is the state electoral commissions. We participated in an election in my state, in Ondo State. People were still voting. They have announced the results of all the local government chairmen and people that won. In Ondo State, this Akere Dolu, who is supposed to be a constitutional lawyer. So the solution is the constitution. The constitution has problem, and you can't fix it. They have been amending the constitution since the beginning of time. And the man who amends the Nigerian constitution, do you know where he is now? He's in a London jail because he was accused of selling kidney or trying to sell somebody's kidney. That's the constitutional expert at the Nigerian Senate. So you know that everything is wrong with us. But the truth is that in law, there's a maxim that you can't build something on nothing. The Nigerian constitution is illegal, completely an illegal document. You are using it to operate a federation, it's not going to work until you have a constitution that has passed through the process of constitutional framing. And that is a constitution that is first framed. And secondly, that constitution must pass through a referendum. If I ask you, Yinka, who are the makers of Nigeria constitution that was made in 1999? I'm sure you don't know anyone. You've never heard about them before. They are not taught in history. They were military men. They met in a room, copied some part of it from Singapore, from America. There was a time there was a reference in Nigerian constitution to an American state because of plagiarism of the constitution. But you can tell me a few people who made the American constitution in 1789.
Yes.
Most of you know them. But you don't know the ones that made your own constitution because the constitution was never made. It was copied and pasted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Joining us is, I see Dr. Shidi Idris Elba.
Yeah, should I go now?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, AY. You know, say I the vex, and I'll go straight to my question. But before I do that, I need to warn you, AY. You came into the comedy industry, and you revolutionized the whole thing. You just took the thing to another level. Now, just ordinary Nigeria, you come to North America, you come to Toronto, you turn the whole place upside down. Caribbeans, everybody is recognizing us. Our comedy has gone to another level. AY, if you ever decide to do anything below this level that you have come, the kind thing we will go do you, you know, go believe that. This is just beside the point. I want you to know, I get squad where they wait for you. You must always take us higher and higher. If you ever decide to go lower, what we will do you know go know. Coming to Omoyele Sowore. Sowore is this kind of person to us. I'm tired and I'm so pissed off with people who keep saying somebody who has gone to the level that Sowore has gone to, somebody who has written a manuscript for corruption with Sahara Reporter, you still tell the person to go back and start from the beginning. Now, Omoyele Sowore, I'm hearing some things that other politicians are going around and they go to visit this person, they go to visit this person. And I'm wondering why you have not gone to visit some of these people, or whether you have plans to go around to the altar of these people so that we can win election. So either you answer that question or you allay my fear, so that from your answer, I'll go back with the message to this squad. This is a hidden squad watching all of you people that are progressive, all of you people that are just our only hope outside in diaspora. With the mark all of you, they follow you closely. I will not reveal our plans, but you, AY, you're one of them. Sowore, you're one of them, but answer my question first.
Well, you know, Dr. Chidi, thank you for joining us. I do not believe in those who think they own Nigeria. That's why I answered the question from a friend who asked a question earlier when he was asking that you can't get anything in Nigeria, not admission, not even passport without a godfather. I don't believe in these godfathers. And you know them. I have named them several times. And you saw the last video that was played about me here on this show. It was in a meeting with one of the so-called godfathers, the former head of state, who was presiding over a peace committee and signing a peace agreement. The first thing I told him is that in 1993, Nigeria had free and fair election. You people annulled it. And now you are coming to come and ask us to be signing peace accord as if we are at war. You started the war. And it is you people that need to sign peace accord among yourselves. And at another time, he asked me to stand up and embrace Mustafa. Gosh, you know, the dynamite in me was just exploding in every direction. I told him, look, Mustafa is not my only problem. You too. You are one of the people who sat down and annulled June 12. You destroyed Nigeria's democracy. And do you know what he said next? Oh, let bygones be bygones. I said, and then he belched out and said, if you become president, some of us might have to leave the country. Well, I told him, sir, that will be your choice. You know, that would be it's not a threat. Some of us have also left the country for them before now. Yeah. Let them too, japa, small. Let them go and see how winter they be. But that's, you know, that's on the lighter side of things. I don't have any plans to visit anybody who is in that category that you are describing. I will never visit them, you know, and I can tell you that they will never also visit me because we have fundamental disagreement. We have irreconcilable differences. And when there's irreconcilable differences, all right, Dr. Chidi, in a marriage, the marriage must break down.
Sure.
So it must be dissolved. I have no links with them. I don't have any plans to link with them. Some of them do reach out. I will tell you honestly here that, oh, tell Sowore to come and visit us. And I tell them, is it because you have erected a shrine of corruption in your house? You know, because you got away with crime, you are now asking me to come and visit. So I would never visit them. I will never visit a Babangida and Obasanjo and Abdul Salami, you know, and any one of them who believe that they own Nigeria. I will never visit them. So I hope it answers your question. And I want to comment on what you said about AY, that, you know, in his own way, they are the ones that have become the ambassadors of the country. And that is why they can't afford to fail.
No.
They can't afford to fail.
No,
they can't afford to even make wrong choices for the Nigerian people. He said it at the beginning of this show that he had arranged some 4 people that excluded me. You know, I wasn't part of his initial plans. But the grassroots out there, you know, the people who have digital brains made him to invite us to this event. The truth is that he's never going to get the so-called front learners to come on his show. They have nothing to offer. They have nothing to say. That's the truth. When we went to a meeting of presidential candidates, the Emiloko man, we had 4 hours meeting. The man slept for 3 hours, 45 minutes. The only time he was awake was when I was mentioning him in my statement. The man beside him woke him and said, Sowore is talking about you. The moment I finished my speech, the man went back to sleep, and he was only woken up after they said the grace at the meeting. So why would Nigeria do itself this harm by all the time voting for the worst amongst ourselves? People said to me, oh, go to Senate, go to the governor. I asked them, so who goes to the presidency? You want me to be a governor in a state that Buhari is presiding over? You want me to be a governor in a country that Tinubu is presiding over? And you admit that I'm better, I'm more agile, I'm more physically fit, I am intellectually sound, but you don't like an intellectually sound president? You don't want a non-corrupt president? What's wrong with us? You know, I know those things are also political strategies. You know, they plant it into them. Go and tell Sowore so that he will feel bad about running for president. Tell him that it's not his time yet. You know, tell him that he has no experience. You know, I said, what is the meaning of experience? Is it the experience that put Nigeria 133 million citizens into poverty that you are calling experience? Is it the experience that put Nigeria push Nigeria to become the world poverty capital in the world? Is it the experience that made it impossible for a variety of children not to reach the age of 5 because they are not immunized at birth? Is it in Nigeria that has over 20 million kids that can't go to school? Is that the experience you keep looking for? Or an experience that can come around and solve this problem in simple? Because most of Nigeria's problems are not that hard. It's not rocket science to govern a country. That is why the president of France is a young guy. The guy who is managing the war in Ukraine is a comedian, like AY.
Yes.
Yes. Zelensky is a comedian. And I hope maybe AY will invite him to his next comedy show.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Mama,
thank you, AY.
Show.
Will be this so.
I'll see you.
That your toy around. We need 20% of it to be donated to Andamogo charitable organization. We need to remove those children from the street. Then before I holla waiting, I want holla my president. I want do one small prayer. Because 2023 not be business as usual.
Never.
Oh, Papa God, when you want to deliver the children of Israel from Egypt, you do 9 plague, they not answer. You not press the last button, which is 10 plague. So, Papa, from the INEC official, the Oga Pata to all the INEC people, anyone when he make attempt to do wuru for this election, Papa take their firstborn and their lastborn as a sacrifice for putting us in another pain. And any Nigeria, when he be say, he join them in any form to collect money, to do wuru for this election, Papa take their firstborn and their secondborn. And let this 2023, let it be a bitter pill in everything they do. Let everything that gives them joy, let it turn to sorrow and bitterness. And let the element of the universe, let it not favor them in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. In the name of Jesus, amen. Maybe that's not one. Because, Papa God, you say, because judgment is not speedily executed upon an evil man, the heart of man are said to do evil. Because you've not executed your judgment upon this evil men that utilize our life, then they continue to loot. Amechi Seme will stone them. Papa, release your stone from heaven. Begin to stone the day and night from this very moment until we get our real leader. So now when nothing go they do now. I don't ask Papa God to do vengeance. Make una go try this election rigging. Una go use una pikin. At first and last, we go help una bury them. Apart from that, everything wanna take rig the election, do selection for all. It go turn to dust for una hand. 2023, una go begin to knock different sickness, kidney failure, liver failure, anything, cancer. Now we go dash una. Because right now, Nigeria is sitting on a time bomb. If heaven does not intervene this way, una wicked stupidity because to the make of the look like non-entity. I am ashamed to be in Nigeria. Not because I am not intelligent. Not because my children are not intelligent. Because this mumu plus G.O., when they be good G.O., when they use their pulala, they sleep with my daughters up and down. We they come for all of now. This election is not usual. And it will never be usual. Man not take it for granted. Though. Take it for granted and see the wrath of the owner of Nigeria, which is God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. You people will see it. The land will work against you people. It is not business as usual.
I like the sound of it not being business as usual. And I see a lot of people saying amen and amen and amen and amen to that prayers. If we put all the amens, Mama, if we put all the amens where they here, it means
I copy this thing. This send out to the island, all of them. Send out all the state governor when they don't make up their mind. You can imagine the impunity when I think they tell them say if you want contracts, make sure you deliver your polling unit. Really? Atiku, since when Nigeria come become your PFC? When they tell us, say, you never even enter power, you just sell us finish. God will punish you, Atiku. If you try that nonsense, you go use your firstborn and your lastborn from all your different women when it born for you. Now you go to replace that statement when you talk. You think that business of usual. My beginning nobody made they do their wuru. But 2027, from councillor to presidency, now all my children they take. If una say na Godfather they take enter power, okay. Godmother, you want to take over the show now. Godfather, they give us people. When Godmother take over the show, we go elect leaders, not ruler for us. Now they create. Now don't turn Nigeria to PLC. Una do and I say the young shall grow. You not gonna grow for that generation. God go punish you now. Make una try the nonsense. If I not bury una first child, una first pikin. This statement I not just make a hear. I go naked for 7 days. Tell Papa God, go there fear Chelsea. I want Lori Burukuti only that for.
Esho, you don't this matter don't enter you well.
Hey,
Esho, don't go back in that spirit. No, I understand.
You see, Ewa, let me tell you where the shame begin. When I was in school in Metro State, University of Denver, a Ghanaian saw my passion for what I want to do at home. He now wanted to connect me to one Oyibo guy. He said, you can work with this lady. As I said, where a conference in Nigeria. He said, lie. You don't see her. The guy can say, why? He can't talk about the bad thing when they do. He can say, but this person is different. He said, I don't want to see her. And he never saw me. Did you understand? Why should the things they made us to become now stand as a stumbling block for me to get assistance to bring to my people? And you expect me to be happy? Let me let them know. All the money wanna loot come Obodo Yipo. All the property wanna take and buy. All the company wanna take and buy. We go look for them and we go collect them back. And Damogo charitable organization in Nigeria and Damogo charity in America. They go work in collaboration, get those things back. Let me let you guys know, I am a dual citizen. Heaven make it to be so for a war day like this. Una this I no come Nigeria go come. Una they look for me before I come. I go report myself to my embassy because I'm coming as an American citizen. They go touch light una like this. Make una look for me, say una won't kill me. They go basket una like this, and we go use them do point of free for Nigeria. Una take crazy. We dey intelligent. My children are so smart and intelligent. If they feel therefore they not go school finish and they hack the entire world. If you give them opportunity to use that knowledge to develop technology. Do you know where we are going to be? Stupid and non-ethic people were supposed to sit down. They go public place, they peace for body, then they say that they can't rule. That useless article, when he thief us many years ago, he still won't come back to come thief. Papa God go punish you article. He goes so if I Papa, not because they see another day, just let them sleep. Make them not wake up. If they wake up, make them paralyzed. Make them not feel they talk. Make them they weak. They not go feel do nothing.
Mama,
it's not business.
Mama, calm down.
How they calm down?
No, calm down. No, calm down. Calm down.
Match break. How you go calm down? Come on, other African country. They don't rehabilitate my children if they visit because they don't see us finish. See finish now. People when they respect us before, they don't see us. The other day my pikin Tayo, that when they do something for YouTube, he travel go where they humiliated him. If to say we they do well, we can't become the big brother when we really be. They go do those nonsense to my children, and they see everything for social media. But you know what? All the useless people. So where you go enter, you go jail all of them. All the prison when they put for Okere, you go bring out my innocent children when they don't put for them. We go rehabilitate them. But all these thieves from Amechi, wicked, you are not innocent. All of them, we go do. Then if you don't enter, we go occupy a house of assembly, a house of rep, a house of senate. May they go talk, say, they don't go pass bill when he favor us. Those idiotic. If that man feel bring his 4 wives into that place, we, Nigeria youth, we qualify to enter the chamber.
Mama.
Follow that do this work.
Mama, oh yeah, Mudiatae. Mama, Mudiatae. Biko, Mudiatae. Mama. You don't hear me?
Mama. These people where you talk about, you know, say for Roboland, when small thief they call them Ojimemera. But this one, when the one will be big thief, all of them be OG.
Oji na Oji. Why be say Ojimemera na go lock for prison?
Yeah.
Now
Ojimemera dey prison now.
Ojimemera dey prison, and the only go like Ibori they parade himself for Delta State.
Yeah, now them be leaders, stakeholders, now they call themselves. Mama.
No, they go carve their whole country for them.
Inside
because only 2 tribes in Nigeria, the tribe of the oppressed and the tribe of the oppressors.
You're right, Mama.
We go so separate them. As far as I'm concerned, when I want to start this war, I make up my mind to do one thing: to declare me and my children as orphan. Because when you be orphan, you go there. If you want because somebody has orphan, you go get advice from children when their papa and mama they advise them. Then with that advice, you go strive to become somebody. So to all our leaders, henceforth, all my children, we are orphans. Una wulo rara anijata GT. Una no wulo. You have done enough to us. So we declare you people in our mind, in our heart.
Mama, I go do your own special interview because you don't take over Sowore interview.
Oh, no, verse.
Now, Sowore question and answer.
Mama, my question now.
Make I ask my question, may I waka?
You know, Mama, you know what you go do?
Wait, I go preach. No, make I waka.
I go print your own flyer.
No
I go
problem.
do 1 hour with you.
Hey,
so that this boy will start from money.
You deserve. But Mama, before you ask your question, you know, say one time where they worry me too much, I carry Babalawo enter court.
I see you now. I hear you that day.
Yes, since that time, the judge no call the case. What I want to do is say, I want to hook you up with my Babalawo, so that now go form a chief priest. You know, now go they handle the spiritual, natural side of.
No worry.
Yes, now.
No worry, Vicky. Match play. We know what to do.
Now, for the wrong shrine, I'm at your heart. There you go. Good. I will just take that one. They operate at another level.
Then we give a special announcement. Any person when you win the election.
I want to ask you about that your Babalawo. Was that a stunt? Was that a stunt or was that for real?
Well, very, very interesting. It wasn't a stunt. You know, I'm an Africanist. I'm a Pan-Africanist, but I also got to a point where every month, every 2 months, they go carry me. Police go carry me. So my trial in Abuja had become a circus. At the point, I had over 15 cases, about 3 criminal cases and about 11 civil cases. So it occurred to us that we need to change again. So, and it was a period of COVID. I had a plan with the guy to wear an Idoma dress. But while we were thinking about wearing an Idoma dress, other ideas kept coming up, and you know, I asked him to carry like a horsetail with him. So then we decided to add some other things, like we got the head of a cat, tied it to the Idoma dress, and. So when we got to the court, we didn't know that such a reaction would happen. First, the woman who was selling the face mask asked me to wear face mask. When they saw Babalawo, she took off. Then the whole court area, the staff started closing early. Sowore had brought Babalawo to court. So when we entered the courtroom, the judge had not started sitting. The police to the judge went and told her that I came with Babalawo to the courtroom, and the judge refused to come out. So I now went out to the police. Where is your judge? He said the judge is talking to her pastor before coming to the courtroom. So the judge walked into the courtroom. This might sound funny to you, and she said everybody should sit down. I don't want anyone in my
life now.
He said everybody in my courtroom, leave. So she started looking at everybody. You journalists, I don't want you. Human rights defenders, I don't want you. Only 2 lawyers. He looked at my Babalawo. He said, Sowore, who is that? I said, that's my chief priest. He came here with me. He said, okay, that one can sit. And at that point, the chief priest started shaking the couch.
Babalawo picture again. And
with lo and behold, the judge granted us all our prayers, and that was the last time she ever called the case. It was also to tell them that African power is more than Orthodox power.
So when you become Mr. President, is that how you'll be moving with your Babalawo?
Who by the way,
to United Nations
Babalawo. In fact, the time that everybody became east of, because I knew him, was when his phone rang and they had to answer his phone. And he was carrying a Samsung. And everybody's like, this guy is not real low. But he's real. He's real African chief priest.
Mama.
I say, when they win the election, maybe we use Babalawo to swear the instead of Bible and Quran.
If you bring something, even if it's you tie red clothes on a cutlass, and you ask politicians to swear by it, they will behave better than they have conquered. They've conquered the Bible and the Quran.
Anthony Coupe.
Yes.
Anthony Coupe is our special friend.
Oh,
very special
wow.
friend.
I think I saw him that this guy went macaroni and my friend Faz went to see him. Is it the one?
Yeah, no, this is another one. This is Anthony Coupe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony, how are
you?
Anthony,
can you ask your question? Your audio. Check your audio.
Question, guy, why?
Mama, you don't swear, you don't pray, you don't swear with your family.
I want to ask question now.
And they come. Anthony.
If you enter
Mama,
power.
Let's take Anthony now.
Let's see Anthony. Anthony, your audio. Your audio. Take it off. Take it off. Use it direct. Take it off. Yeah. No, take it off completely from the phone. Use your phone direct. Okay. Anthony is a very special friend to me. I'm very passionate about his activities. Yeah. He's always with us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Respect.
Okay. When he fixes his mic, we'll bring him back. Oh yeah, Mama, ask your question. Make Oga give us in last word. Make we feel waka.
My first question be say, what do you go do about Nnamdi release when you enter power? Second question, our police army that they do work where they're not supposed to do. So what are you going to do about police reform so that police and not army and every person go behave and do job according to what we know them to be? Then the other question, what do you go do about border security? Then our children were not supposed to be prison when they there. What do you go do? May we bring them out, rehabilitate them, and empower them to become fruitful in the society. Then the other one we say, what do you go do about drug?
Mama, this is make you answer one that time, not that now.
I want to ask everything, make a waka.
You don't go anywhere. You know, can't swear finish, call waka. You must see how your swear they work.
All right, answer the one I don't ask so far.
Mama, if I say you go repeat that more because.
Okay, I said, what are you going to do about Nnamdi release when you enter into
Nnamdi, yes.
Mm-hmm. What are you going to do about our police reform so that they not go to enter streets, they beat my children, they collect their phone and laptop.
Border security.
And border security. Then what are you going to do about children that are in the prison they are not supposed to be so that they'll bring them and rehabilitate them? And what are you going to do about these children end up become drug addicts? How are we going to rehabilitate them? And what are we going to do about our street children and rehabilitating them? Then And other people, when they cause our kasala, now these our religious geos, when they don't, they lie to us. What do you go do about this sector? Because their own problem, it pass the politician on. They give fake prophecy, they tell us lie, they turn my children to ATM machine. They pray for job when they not create job. So all these things needs to be addressed the way that they do for Western world. Then finally, what do you want to do about health? Health na koko. My team just went to the hospital few days ago. 3 cases they brought before me. The women born pikin. They don't get money, take discharge, go home. They don't discharge them home. But because they don't feel pay, they're inside hospital. They hold pikin for one side. It can't be like prison. They not allow pikin and mama stay together because they trust our some women. They go carry pikin, basically one day. So they put children hostage one side, mama hostage. We need to address all this.
Okay, Mama, make your answer now.
Yes. So, Mama, I'll start with Nnamdi. I'm sure you know that I'm probably the only candidate who has interfaced with him. I attend his so-called trial in Abuja. In fact, they almost killed me for attending his trial. I've been attacked like 4-5 different times. I mean, about 4 times for attending his trial, and I've never been allowed to be in court to attend his trial. So it's very simple. Nnamdi Kanu is a political prisoner as far as I'm concerned, and he will be released unconditionally. And it is because also I'm not the only one who feels this way. Our courts have taken a judicial decision that Nnamdi Kanu has no case to answer. We just need a leader that respects the rule of law, and I'm a stickler to the rule of law. The second question about police and security reform, I know them very well. I know that the police has become a police that protects only VIPs. And when you talk about police brutality, I'm a direct victim of police brutality. My nose that is broken was broken by a police officer in Abuja. I have a lot of scars on my head that I got from being beaten by police and soldiers when I was University of Lagos activist. And at the time, a police officer shot a riot gun directly at me on my tie. That lady that was shown earlier on, Atine is her name, CSP Atine. And within minutes, my tie had expanded to twice the size. I had to be taken to 2 hospitals in Abuja. So I know what the problems of policing is, but we must address them also holistically. Because if you look at the barrack system, which I will eliminate, the barrack system of policing and also dehumanizes the police officers themselves. If you go to an average barrack, it's worse than a zoo. Zoos are places where animals even get proper treatment. I'm not talking about Nigerian zoos, but real zoos. So I will eliminate the barrack system, provide a housing system for them so that every police officer serving will have a house of his own. And when they retire, they will not need to be kicked out of the barracks the way they treat them now. You have a life insurance policy for them so that if anything happens to them, someone will take care of their family. They are doing a job that is very dangerous. That they don't have life insurance doesn't even make sense. When I mean life insurance is, for those who may not know about it, is if anything happens to you, you are disabled or you die, a lump payment is made to your family so that they can keep taking care of themselves because they are the breadwinner. And that's what should happen to police. We should pay them very well. The average salary of a Nigerian police, as of today's cost of living, should not be more than 250,000 naira per month. That's not a lot of money, considering that it's just about $400. I don't know how you expect somebody to carry a gun and earn 56,000 naira, and he will not become a criminal. You're just deceiving yourself. It's impossible. And also training. I would definitely look into recruitment. Part of the problem of policing in Nigeria is that they are recruiting criminals into the police directly. Some of them are former armed robbers, kidnappers, and this is why technology is important. At this point in the history of Nigeria, we should have had crime labs. There's only one crime lab owned by the police in Nigeria. The police in Nigeria does not have the capacity to track phones. They have to go outside and pay somebody to track phone when somebody is kidnapped. The one they set up was fake. It has broken down a long time ago. So you have to ensure that they have the dignity so that they don't resort to carrying bags or serving food at parties. What they do in the US for police, for you to respect police, is to give them the best treatment possible. They kit them properly, they train them properly. There's even a way that policemen cut their hair. They have allowances for haircut before in Nigeria. The police used to be a respectable profession in Nigeria before the military came and destroyed everything. Everything they touched, they ruined. So, but lastly, it's also important that our police have the capacity to collect, process, and act on intelligence. The final thing I would say, sir, is our emergency system. We don't have an emergency system at all in Nigeria. If you call the police emergency system, you are wasting your time. Except you have the DPO's number or the commissioner's number, you are not likely to get any kind of reasonable help if you are in danger in Nigeria. So all these things will be looked into, and I'll make sure that the army doesn't come to do the police work. The army should stay to protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria, where police protect the internal integrity of Nigeria. And the command and control of these security agencies are also important. But just to address policing within the framework of devolution of power, is that we should give states the right to own their police forces. But we have a central control over how they are properly trained, and we monitor if they abuse rights of people. The federal government can take over the police department that is misbehaving. We should be able to have state police, local government police. Every town in the US, practically every town in the US has its own police department. They have vehicles, but if they engage in any extra policing or extrajudicial, misconduct, the FBI is the federal police. They can come and take over the police station, investigate and punish people. That's the way we should have it here as well. But in Nigeria, the police that we have is just a sham rogue unit. And anybody can deploy the police to do anything today in Nigeria. You can ask them to go and organize a party. You can ask them to protect people that they are not supposed to protect. Criminals have police protection in Nigeria. You go to Abuja, police are protecting empty houses. If you go to Wuse, you go to Maitama, you see policemen 6, sometimes 10 with, these assault weapons protecting empty houses. The last thing I will say is that I want to see a civil or civilian police in Nigeria. I hate to see policemen that are carrying AK-47 on the streets of Nigeria. We must have reached a point where police can resolve a lot of civil issues with pepper spray, with baton or shields. Not that at the slightest provocation. You kill somebody. They killed a lawyer that's pregnant with twins in this country. And kill more people just over small issues. And the reason is that the kind of lethal weapon that's available to them is the reason they get provoked easily and they just kill, because you can't replace life. But what is wrong with the police using pepper spray on somebody who didn't have particulars, so that you can suppress the person? Or if you have to use weapons at all, it has to be a weapon that can deflate a tire quickly, or a baton that can be used to restrain somebody. Or, we've reached a point now where policemen can wear cameras so that we can check what they did after they're closed from work. They don't have control over those cameras. That's where the technological aspect of my manifesto comes into it. Because I've been a victim of policing in several ways, I would never gloss over this, and I will ensure that policemen, soldiers do the job for which they are constitutionally hired to do for the country. And like I keep saying, this is not rocket science.
No. You have spoken very well, and I want to believe that, Mama, you've gotten the right answers, and at the same time, you have pledged your support for Omoyele Sowore, and we are happy to hear that as well. So we're just going to be getting your last word for tonight. There are quite a lot of people on the line who really would want to ask questions. I see James David, I see Alexo, I see OB, Multimedia, Isaac, Babiden, I see the finance guy. That's your name. I see you there. Mama, fire. As usual. Who needs to mute?
Never don't take light.
No, never take light. Good evening, sir. Good evening, Mr. AY.
Okay, this is what you guys are going to do. Round it up. Just one or two real quick. We're not taking questions anymore.
Mr. Sowore, simple question. Good evening, Mr. Sowore.
Good evening, brother. How are you?
I'm very fine. I just wanted to ask, the guy you actually use as your Babalawo man, is he from Gwagwalada, Abuja here?
If I tell you, it's no longer a mystery. You want police to go and catch you?
No.
Wax,
I know, yes, I do know him. And I also wanted to ask you just this simple question. Can you actually work with a very sincere person who becomes the president of Nigeria, e.g., Mr. Obi? I know Mr. Obi is not a saint, but can you work with him?
No, there's no nation that's looking for this. But the truth is that I'm on different from Obi. And I was here with Obi today, he will tell you that at several points of his vulnerable political life, I've assisted him before. You understand? When he was kicked out, I assisted him twice with publications that even the judge was getting bribed, and we made sure that he didn't deliver a judgment he had been paid for on behalf of Obi. When he started this journey as well, I gave him a judgment from our own case in AAC so that he could become the legitimate candidate of the Labour Party. But that's as far as my generosity is concerned. But fundamentally, when we talk about principles and ideologies, we are different. He's a PDP person. He believes in their ideology, their philosophy. Forget about this whole purification. And I know you guys don't like to hear that, but I'm here to tell you the truth, even if it's harsh. So I cannot work with anybody who has been endorsed by Obasanjo, who has been endorsed by Babangida, who has been endorsed by all the people who ruined Nigeria. That's why you cannot see me hold hands with them. Never. So if he works with them, they will definitely have influence on his government, and that would be terrible for Nigeria. So this whole, is not a saint. You are not under any obligation to vote for somebody who is not a saint, if you can find a saint. And I'm not saying I'm a saint, but there are a lot of competent, good people in Nigeria. I was referring to what several across the world, including those of you who are here. So many of you who are asking questions here, who are campaigning for all these guys, you can do better than them. Some of you can run Nigeria from abroad without reaching here, and Nigeria will be running perfectly. Just on Zoom, call a meeting in the morning, say, you minister, go and do this, you in charge of health. Because why? When there was COVID, majority of people were treated on Zoom. It's called telemedicine. They didn't have to visit the hospital, because at the point, even America had no capacity. There were no more beds in American hospitals to put COVID patients. So they had to devise technological ways of running their health sector, because I wanted to address that even with Mama. So there is no need for us to be figuring out whether a saint is good or not. You understand? What we should be talking about is, does the person have capacity? Do they have track record? I know some of you said, Anambra used to be, it is a great place, they ran the place very well. But I don't see how many of you are running there for your vacation. Because it's fallacy of generalization that is driving some of those narratives. There's no substance to so many of these things. And I'm the one who can tell it to you. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. All of us feel bad when our candidates don't get great reviews. My supporters feel that way too. But it doesn't change how people feel about me. If they have information about me, then I'm not capable of doing what I need to do. You can't force anybody to support any candidate. So if I make a promise now that I'm going to put him in my government,
boss, I'm with you.
That I want. Why would I put him in my government?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question. Is waiting.
The likelihood that I'll put a 61-year-old man in my cabinet is very remote. I'm going to look for young people to run the country with me. Very young people. I'll probably be the oldest person in my cabinet.
Can I go on now?
Go ahead.
Mr. Show. Yeah, good evening. Thank you. This second time meet you. I'm very glad to meet you. I have some bomb I wanted to explode, but
you just deserve everything with the question you answer to Madam H.O. You are the only person that have spoken as a presidential candidate about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Among all the presidential candidates, no one have touched that. No one have able to answer that question. Nobody. And you're the only person that also came out during the NSAS. I was even scared for yourself. This man know what they do. Say you came out for NSAS and you are campaigning to be the president of Nigeria. And NSAS are against this government. I was saying, this man, you get mine. So
just to let you know, I was the one who started NSAS first on Zoom. Go and check Zoom of October 5. We had an NSAS Zoom meeting. It had over 700 people. I was the first person to take NSAS to the police headquarters. You understand? But I don't want to claim credit for ownership. NSAS is everybody's struggle because it has not ended. So you should not be appointing any traditional ruler of NSAS. So it's not something anybody should appropriate to himself. Are you getting my point?
Yeah,
because
I'm getting
the struggle against police brutality has not ended. So, and it is very important to just make that point.
Yes, I understand. You have the balls to become the president of Nigeria. But no, for me, I'm totally against Nigeria presidency, everything to do with Nigeria, because I'm from Robo, I'm from Delta State, Abraka. I'm totally in support of Biafra because of what I'm seeing that Nigeria is doing. Nigeria, they have in fact, we are not united, and nothing can ever be united, and nothing can bring all Nigerians together. So my question to you is that now you are totally against this cabal, and you have given them that you are going to persecute them. You've given a lot of, you have their information, you have their database, and I know they will never. I'm sorry to say, I love you so much as a person, but not a presidential candidate. They will never allow you to become their president because they know you are coming with fire that is going to raise them down. So, what plans do you have if these people succeed by? Can't tell you because they have the manpower, they have everything to fight you and your team. So what plans do you have for people like us that's agitating for Biafras? If eventually, sorry to say to you, if you did not make it to be the president of Nigeria, I know you love Nigeria, that's why you'll be fighting, doing everything for this country. So what will you do for people like us that's against Nigeria?
I don't advocate for the breaking up of Nigeria is that I know Nigeria well enough that when all of you break up into your individual republics, you are still going to carry the problem of Nigeria to your republic, because the people who are destroying Nigeria now, you can't expel them from whatever republics you have. And I've had this conversation with Nnamdi Kanu, but I believe in self-determination. I believe that there should be options for people who are tired of Nigeria by way of a provision that can be invoked in the constitution to leave Nigeria if they so want. You know, you cannot keep people together with injustice. You cannot use gun, AK-47 and whip. That would only work for a while. That's why I keep advocating for justice. The reason I will go and risk my life in a courtroom for Nnamdi Kanu. I know Nnamdi Kanu today has won his case up to the Court of Appeal. You understand? So what I'll say to you as an honorable man is that Wakobiro, Benyoboweri.
Okay. Alex, Akamruma, Methode, OB Multimedia, you're going to be the last but not the least on my list. But I can still see Coupe springing up.
Yeah.
Coupe, is your sound good now?
Yeah, it's very, very good. I've done it.
Okay, good. OB Multimedia, please let Coupe speak. He was here before now.
Mr. Omoyele, I greet you. My name is Anthony Coupe. I'm a person living in Kerala project. Now, I have got 2 questions for you. First question, the disability law signed by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2016, they have not enforced the law. If you could become the president, will you enforce the disability law that President Muhammadu signed in 2016? My second question, I have cerebral palsy, and the therapy that make me to be tempered and agile. I drive a car. Now, the money of therapy is high because I have a foundation whereby I pay therapy to people. Last year, the money for therapy 1 year was 90,000 naira. When I went there to go and renew some of them, I was getting 140,000 naira for 1 year for a child. I want to know if you become the president, will you make therapy free for us?
Yes. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate. I was hoping you'd come
Anthony
back. I
Coupe.
appreciate.
Did
I
you get the
appreciate seeing
question?
you. Yes. So my position is that nobody should call a law a disability law. You are not disabled. You just have. You just belong to the special population in the country. The people they call disabled in Nigeria are the only people who win gold during the Olympics. The abled men, they come back empty hands. The same Olympic field, the same country where they hold Olympics is where they hold, an Olympics for people who have a special condition. So I won't call a law disability law because it already presumes that, presume that you are below par. You just belong to the special population. Secondly, any law that Buhari signs, just know you can never be good because he's not a good man. That's my own personal opinion. But to go to implementation, I think I would propose a brand new law that is wholeheartedly incorporating your right to exist in this society despite, your special condition or situation. And that would be a law that pays you some monthly stipends that is institutionalized because you can't go to work, you are not able to do this thing, provide you opportunity to go to schools that pays attention to you to develop your special abilities, because also to provide you places where you can work and make sure that every public building in Nigeria provides you opportunity. If you have hearing issues, provide you to be heard. Even ATMs in Nigeria, I've not seen an ATM in Nigeria where a person who has this kind of special condition can withdraw money. All these things are not provided for. Our bosses don't have for you ways for you to enter and get out or to get help. So it has to be holistic. I would do a holistic refurbishing of whatever laws are there to help you. And you will get under our government a special health insurance that allow you to get your medicine for free or to access therapies or medical needs that you have, because you deserve a right to live a full life, even though nature hasn't been too kind to you. So I'm with you, and I can't wait to be president so that we can all work together.
Thank
All
you.
right. Coupe, are you happy now?
Therapy, on the issue of therapy, how will you consider therapy when you become the president of Nigeria?
Maybe I didn't get that question correctly. Why?
Yeah, it was on therapy. It was talking about therapy. How can you implement therapy when you become the president of Nigeria?
That's what I'm saying. That it's the insurance that I will provide for you is a federal insurance that covers payment for your drugs, therapy, and medical treatment. You will get that insurance. We will pay it for free, and we'll give you stipends to eat, and stipends for transportation, and prepare you to work in public service in a way that you can sustain yourselves. As you can see, you don't have any disability. Your question is very direct, it's clear to me. So that's why I hate to call anybody, disabled.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Coupe is friends with about 95% of everybody in the entertainment sector in Nigeria. We love him so much. We're very, very passionate about what he does. As he's there, sometimes I'll be afraid. This guy drives. So when you say he's not disabled, I can agree with you. This guy drives, as in he can come to a hotel, attend an event, and drive home. And I gifted him a car. And people, they came for me and they were like, why would you do a thing like that? And I was scared. But then I also wanted him to get a driver, but Coupe drives. And he's very passionate about Nigeria, passionate about other special people to the point that he has a foundation. So anything anybody out there can do to support and encourage Coupe is something that I would also love. I'm very passionate about everything that he does. Anthony, thank you very much for joining us. I'll see you later, right? Okay, good. So the last but not the least on this live show with Sowore has been killing it back to back, responding to questions. I want to believe that you have your questions to ask. Come on, go ahead, my brother.
Okay, good evening, Mr. AY. Good evening, Mr. Omoyele Shawali. I have two questions, but one, you have handled the issue of the policing area. Then the second question, how do you intend to handle health sectors in Nigeria?
Thank you very much, my brother. You are the last and the luckiest person tonight to ask the last question. But I hope this will not be our last interaction on these platforms. The health sector is very, very big. When I say big, I'm talking investment. And what it needs is investment. Number two, investment. Number three, a technologically driven health sector. You know, in Nigeria, if you see a hospital that they call state-of-the-art hospital, what they have just done is they buy like a body scanner and put it in the lobby area. That's what is state-of-the-art. And you know, even in the US, body scanners are not used to diagnose serious diseases. And here in Nigeria, having lived there for 4 years, you know, against my will, there are three that affect Nigerians. If it starts, they call it malaria. If it doesn't go away, it becomes typhoid. And if it persists, they will say that it's the village people that are after you. Reason is that our health system is missing a diagnosis, is missing a proper understanding because we don't have the three different levels of healthcare that is required. And number one is the primary healthcare system that should be at every level at the village, you know, in townships. And then you should have the secondary, you know, general hospitals that are supposed to be available to, you know, general hospitals are supposed to appear, you know, depending on the population of an area, you know, sometimes proximity should also be part of what help you set it up. And then you are supposed to have a tertiary healthcare system, which are our university teaching hospitals. All these things are collapsed in Nigeria. But what I think should be happening is that before we get to start thinking about building more hospitals, so fix the ones that are in existence now and put the necessary equipment there. We also have to link the healthcare conundrum with the fact that there are only 24,000 doctors in Nigeria today, catering to over 200 million people. All our doctors have left. It is the reason I want to pay students study grants so that they can have no distraction when they are going to school, because we need to rapidly produce some 150,000 or more doctors. In the US, that has 350 million people, there are about 2.6 nurses. Most of our nurses have left. The same World Bank of USA, of United Kingdom, Canada says that our education is below par. They are transporting our nurses. If you get a job in the UK today, they will pay even for your cab to the airport. They take you out completely because they need you. COVID has taught them that they need doctors. So the other strategy I will use in terms of technology is to appeal to our doctors that have left to help us practice telemedicine. What do I mean? There was a day I had food poisoning. And when you say food poisoning in Nigeria, people think that they are poisoning you. It's salmonella. When you eat food that has not been warmed, that has salmonella, particular salmonella bacteria. And I went to the doctor here. He almost killed me. He was giving me pain injections instead of ensuring that maybe vomiting is reduced. In fact, the best way to treat this thing is to eat a particular fruit, in essence, and you throw up and you're fine. But it was my doctor who stayed on the phone from the US that saved my life. So we can introduce telemedicine for people who want to help treat people who have left. He said, look, these are the number of people that need this kind of advice. They can give them advice and they can take prescriptions from these doctors. But I actually do think that we can invest a lot and drive our medical system with technology in such a way that everybody can, at least a large proportion of our people can be taken care of. Where we need physical hospitals, mostly probably elderly care. And we can refurbish our hospitals to ensure that our elders are taken care of. One last thing I would say is that, you know, if I become president of Nigeria, any disease that afflicts me that can't be treated here, it better kill me. because we should start from there. It is the fact that our leaders don't go to hospitals here that made them not to build hospitals that can treat anything, and that's a shame.
With what you said now, you are equally in support of Mama's swear. If you are saying anything, you better kill me here.
Anything that can, the reason I'm saying so is that
you agree to that as
that I stayed in the US for 20 years. If the US president is dying today and they say the doctor that can treat him is in South Africa, he will not. They won't let him leave the country. They will rather go bring the doctor. That's what I mean. It is because they have created the healthcare system that takes care of everybody. They have health insurance. You have it. We have health insurance in Nigeria too now, but it is what they use. What these ministers use to hire private jets all over the place. And the HMOs here, most of them are fake. They are tied to the people working in the NHS. That completely needs overhaul as well.
Sorry, we have to go. Isaac Bamidele, we have to go. Precious Michael, we really, really have to go. And for those of you asking the question, when are we seeing the other candidates here? The invitation is open, still very much open, and we're willing to accommodate to have any of the candidates come.
I would recommend to you another brilliant candidate, and I'm not promoting any candidates here. Check into, and I'll talk to you probably private, check into the younger candidates, not the old. Forget about these old people. They have nothing to offer you. The SDP guy is a lawyer, brilliant. There's a guy who started 8 years old, the Molume, is brilliant. There's the ADC guy, Kachuku, they are brilliant, but nobody, the media ignores them. As a result, you lose out on this. I'm not saying that they're better than me.
That's why it's actually open. That's why it's so.
But I will ask them to contact you because I meet them. In fact, the Abga candidate, who though he's an older guy, Professor Peter Omiadi, brilliant. I don't know if you ever listened to him before. So stop pursuing all these old guys who have nothing to offer. Talk to the younger ones and let Nigeria.
I think that's a good way to round up for the night. We want to thank you especially for
arrogant and cocky old politicians who have nothing to offer, but who have a sense of entitlement that we owe them, at the office of the president, so that they can use it to be treating their ailments and taking care of their families and cronies and friends.
I think you need to drink a glass of water for that.
I need it. Mama, make I cool down.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, and we wish you all the best from February 25th. Good luck. Thank you. Bye.